Oh, perfect. There you are. Yeah, there she is.
I don't know what happened there. I'm so sorry. Wonderful. That was just really weird.
No, it's okay. You know, these glitches, they always the case. But so happy to see you. So is Mick back? Did he was able to make it back?
No, he got delayed. So unfortunately, it's just going to be me.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, well, unfortunately, it got delayed, but fortunately, we get to have you. So at least we get to have to talk with you.
Right.
So, yeah. So Tracey, it's just telling our listeners, and we have quite a few people already. So I just would like to introduce you first. So this is Tracey Keenan, the founder or the co-founder with her partner Mick Still, who was supposed to be with us, but he's running late. Of the wonderful Peanuts Wellbeing Sanctuary in South New Wales in Australia. And I met Tracey on the very same day. Somebody says they love peanuts. Yeah, I love too. I love the sanctuary as well. So Tracey, we met on that very first day that we had our soft launch. That was a year ago. And here we are a year later. We have had, a little bit of experience together in terms of working together and making progress. And then, of course, there is a lot waiting for us this coming year. And we'll be talking about that in giving updates in the near future. But today, we would love to learn more about your journey, more about how you started the sanctuary, learn a little bit more about what people can do remotely as well as on site to be able to support you and all of that. So, and before we start, I have a question. Would it be possible for us later, towards the end, to see the animals and the sanctuary, or the connection isn't that strong?
Look, to be honest, if we walk out, I could walk out there and see how we go, but the connection may
give it a try.
I'm probably sorry, I'm probably going to lose you.
Okay. Yeah, that's usually the case because sanctuaries, they are out of town, usually located remotely, and it has been typical experience. So Tracey, first question is, when did you become vegan, and when was that moment that you decided that you wanted to find a sanctuary?
Okay. Well, I became vegetarian when I was about 13. I stopped eating meat and stuff like that. We got a lot of family on farms, and went to Marae in New Zealand, and actually they slaughter their own animals there to eat, and I just couldn't handle it. I just thought it was cruel. I didn't think there was a need, so I did that. I went vegetarian. So I actually kind of thought I was doing everything, that I could for animals and being vegetarian. But it wasn't until they released a story over here about what happens with the bobby calves and that in the dairy industry. Now, when I found out about that and I watched the news report on it, I actually went vegan overnight. And the only reason that it got released over here was because somebody leaked the story, because from when they're born to about 5 days old, about 5 days old, they actually wanted to stop feeding them before they slaughtered them, and that was the only reason the story got released. When I heard about that, I was absolutely mortified, and I didn't even know that happened. So, and I guess just the demand for milk has got so great that they actually just class them as waste products. So it was actually extremely easy for me just to stop dairy as well. But that was kind of like about 25 years ago. So back then, we were very limited to our choices that we could have. But now we're spoilt for choice. Like everyone, it's really happening, that people are really starting to understand health-wise. People are starting to realize, so now we've got a lot more choices as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Give me 1 second. I'm going to turn the fan off, and I'll be right back.
Yeah, sure.
It's pretty noisy in the back. It's summer. It's summer over here. It's winter for you, and it is summer over here. So
winter. I've got the heater on. So
yeah, it's just remarkable. These times we live in. We can build a community across the world where it's summer over here, it's winter down there. It could be day somewhere, it could be night somewhere. It really shows you that the amazing opportunities that there are for people to come together, and hopefully that willing and wanting to do something to do something for the animals, and of course it spills over to what we do for people. Could be a very powerful thing that brings people together. So you became vegan, and how long ago was that you just told us? How long ago was all of this?
Oh, that was about 25 years ago. So
and then,
sorry.
No, please, you go ahead. Please go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, it was just, it was only because I had no idea, and I guess knowledge is strength and power. So some people don't know things, so they can't correct it. But the second I found out what was happening, I straight away just went, I can't be a part of that. Like, the cruelty is unbelievable. So.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The people are saying hello. They're sending you lots of hearts. Vegan Travel Diary, they're sending you lots of love. Yeah, welcome everybody. This is Tracey Keenan.
Hi, Vegan Travel Diaries. Hi.
Yeah. One of the co-founders, one of the wonderful Peanuts Wellbeing Sanctuary in South New Wales. And that's the province where Sydney is located in Eastern Australia. So Tracey, so now you became vegan. That was 25 years ago. And then from the moment to the moment that you decided to find a sanctuary. So what is it? Was it a process, a gradual thing, or was it something that happened and then you had an aha moment? How did it happen? And then, and how did you come from being vegan to being a sanctuary founder? Because being vegan, because when you talk about vegan sanctuaries, usually it's vegans running them, but it's quite a decision and it's quite a commitment.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about that journey and how you came to that realization.
Well, I was working in an industry, and I was raised in a way that when we were raised, my mum we always had rescued animals, and she did a lot of foster care, so she took in a lot of children and things like that. So very early on, I actually saw the interaction with children in care to animals that had been abused. And I noticed that when children have been abused by adults and animals have been abused, they seem to form a bond together, and they heal each other. And they do things because they lose the trust of adults. So they form a bond together. And I was working one day, and it was near Christmas time, and it was just all over the news. There was an absolute horrific, sad case over here of animal cruelty, and it was at Christmas. And also, too, there was some poor little boy that was found dead in a suitcase that had been put in a river. I was absolutely just horrified by it. And I just thought, surely I can do more. Like, surely there's something that we can do. So I literally woke up one morning and just went, I need to be able to, I want to do more. I want to do stuff to help them. So I actually went to work, quit my job, and just got a little bit of part-time job, and then I just started the sanctuary. I went in blind. I had no idea really what I was doing. I just knew I wanted to do something to help them. That's and so that's how it started. But I do have to say that you know, I'm only one person, and it's taken a village to achieve what we've achieved. So I can't express how much we love all the volunteers, everybody that helps. They are the reason that we can do what we do. So.
Yeah, I actually volunteer at a sanctuary, Animal Place, here in Grass Valley, where I live. Tomorrow, I have a shift tomorrow morning. I'm going to usually clean chicken barns, and I see firsthand what it means for sanctuaries to have volunteers and members, and we'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about that shortly. So, could you run us over? Or could you run us through a typical day? So you wake up, what times do you wake up? What kinds of activities do you do? And then what things you do throughout the day. And I just wanted our listeners to listen to this, because running a sanctuary is an incredible commitment. It takes real heart. And to me, that's why I believe and I feel so strongly for people running sanctuaries. It's something that takes real soul, real heart, real effort. And before that, Tracey, I just want to mention something. You said something that reminded me of something that Nietzsche said, the philosopher. You said, I started it and then I figured it out. And exactly what he said. He said, if you figure out, if you can endure the why, you can endure the how.
Yes. Yes.
And you remind me, and then you absolutely remind me of that, and what you said absolutely reminds me of that. And every time when I talk to any sanctuary founder, Nietzsche comes to my mind, is people who have that heart, that have this sort of, they connected with something in here that tells them this is the right thing to do. And then after that, because sometimes the hardships that they go through, I mean,
yes,
flee. I don't blame them. I mean, it's real serious. They're being tested by life day in and day out, but they don't. So I just wanted to note that, and because as I said, remind me of Nietzsche. And so please walk us through a typical day of activities as somebody who runs a sanctuary.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I'm very sorry that Mick's not here to join in, because he is a huge part of our typical day. But yeah, we get up in the morning. We have a lot of elderly animals. So generally, if animals, no different to humans, if we're going to pass in our sleep, it's usually all hours of the morning. So our first job is we wake up, we do our animal welfare check to make sure they're all still here with us. And then there's ones that need breakfast. So we go out, we give them their breakfast, we check.
At what time is that? At what time all of this starts?
Oh, look, it all depends on what the day brings, but I do try to push it to about 7 o'clock, 7:30 if I can. But as a rule, you know, if you've got a really, really busy day and you've got to leave at that time, you'll get up earlier. So, because they do have to be checked. And I laugh when you say the chicken coops, you can come and clean ours out anytime. We've only just started with chickens. We've just got a couple of lovely ladies that have rescued some chickens. So we've got 5 of them at the moment. It hasn't, so they get cleaned out every morning, because as we know, what goes in comes out. So we check them, and yeah, we do the sheep and all of that. So, and then once you've done all the welfare check, then you come in and try and have some breakfast or a cup of tea, and then you start your day. So depending on what's on the list, you know, today Mick's had to go shoot into town to get some stuff that we need to get done. We have the Sydney vegan markets tomorrow, so there's a few things that we need to make sure we get done today. And yeah, that's what you do. So, you know, it never stops. It doesn't, you're never ever going to sit down and say, I don't have anything to do. So, so.
Absolutely. I was talking to one sanctuary founder, and she was telling me that the last time she took a vacation was 5 years ago. Yes. And it's yeah, I mean, as I said, it is an incredible commitment. It really takes a special person of a special heart and a special mind and an incredible courage to do that kind of thing. I mean, I consider myself committed to the animals, but I will not claim that they have the same commitments of sanctuary founders like you do. It's I'm learning from you. I'm getting inspiration from you, but I have to admit,
thank you.
You are at another level. I try to do my best, but you guys are at another level. And you know, it's funny you talk about Mick, because it has been a while since we have been doing all of this. It has always been women. And I think of course, there is something to be said. I think I always try to remind myself and remind people that the sanctuary movement really is powered by women. Even if, of course, there are men, of course, but the vast majority is actually are women. So that's something that needs to be taken into consideration and remembered. So today, when I knew Mickens would be coming, because we have been expecting him, I was saying, "Oh my God, today we're going to have an exception."
Yeah. Well, Well, actually, he's just walking in the door now, so he does get to join us.
Okay, great. Well, great.
I've got this here.
Hi, Mick. Hi. No problem. So this is Mick. Hi, Mick. This is Mick Still, and he's the co-founder with Tracey of Peanuts Wellbeing Sanctuary in South New Wales, Australia. Mick, so still in people are vegan diaries are sending you hearts and love. So Mick, I was just saying, Tracey, that this is a woman-powered movement. And today I was looking forward to you being on the show because it's you are the first man, and we have about at least 10 episodes already, and you are the first. So we are very happy to have you with us.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So Tracey was walking us through a typical day, and she was telling us what you guys do. And so this brings me to a question. Running a sanctuary, what is the most inspiring thing that you have learned or you have seen? And what is the hardest thing that you have encountered or that you encounter on a regular basis?
The hardest thing is easy. That's when you get an animal and you can't save them. So that is definitely the hardest.
Yeah.
But I'd say the easiest would be, or the best thing, the most rewarding is when we go out there and we look at their faces and we know where they've come from, and you walk out there now and see them, and you know, it's beautiful. Yeah. Like that keeps you going. Yeah.
When you get an animal that comes in that's really sick and is literally laying on the ground, and the vet says literally they'll pass away in the next 24 hours, and you dedicate your time to nurse that animal back, and then over the next 7 to 14 days, you teach it to walk again, you get it up and about, and then once that animal is able to care for itself, the joy you get knowing that you did everything you possibly could to save that animal, that is massive. That's a massive highlight for me. It really is.
Oh my God, absolutely. No, absolutely. And when I asked about the hardest thing that you have to encounter, it is again a theme of every sanctuary founder we have spoken to so far gave us exactly the same answer. And I was expecting you to say that, and it's part of the reason. Well, of course, I'm interested in your answer, regardless, maybe something else. But I had a feeling that would be the answer. And for our listeners, I just wanted them to see and to really follow and to really take this to heart for a moment. These incredibly brave souls that put it all on the line to create these sanctuaries, these havens, in a sea of suffering, and the incredibly hard work, waking up very early in the morning, very long hours, putting it all on the line. As a society, we are asking them to bear witness and do all of this with very little resources, and then the trauma of being exposed to suffering, and there is so little you can do about it. Yes, it's incredibly empowering to have the animals that you can help. It's incredibly empowering, and it gives all the meaning that there is. But I think it cannot be denied that the kind of emotional hardship that they go through. So I advise myself and advise everybody listening to this to send a message, or to take a minute, even by showing a heart and telling Tracey and Mick thank you. So guys, thank you so very much for, we're still talking, I'm just saying for this part, it is incredibly brave, to face that kind of darkness day in and day out and still be there. And yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the other thing is, let's say some young person comes to you and say, hey, I see you're Instagram page, I see your Facebook. It looks amazing. We take pictures with cute pictures with animals. Somebody says the best humans. I agree. I think it's a breed of their own, the people running sanctuaries. So somebody tells you, hey guys, Mick, hey Tracy, I would love to run a sanctuary. It looks all cute, taking pictures the whole day, running with animals. What would you tell them?
The one thing we would say is be prepared to put your life on hold because your dedication is to those animals. The animals can't talk. They can't tell you what's wrong with them. So literally both me and Tracy, we bounce off each other constantly. That animal doesn't seem right. I wonder what it could be. Let's change the feed. Let's take it in shifts to care for them. At the end of the day, it's not just, as you say, lovely pictures running with animals happily in the paddock. There's a lot of behind the scene things that you just don't promote, and that is losing sleep to bottle feed lambs and care for animals that have, you know, got broken legs or they're older, especially when the animals are older. A lot of people don't want the hassle of caring for those animals. That comes back on the sanctuary, and both me and Tracy work as a team, and you've got to give up your time and basically put your life on hold for those animals that can't talk, can't tell you what's wrong, and that's the hardest thing. If you're not prepared to do that, it's very hard to start up a sanctuary and do it alone. You really need to combine and work with a sanctuary, and that's where our lovely volunteers come into play, and sometimes when they get time off work, they can ease a bit of pressure off of me and Tracy.
I'd highly recommend that if anyone was looking at starting a sanctuary, find a sanctuary where you can go and spend a couple of months and just be full on, because, you know, I know when I was telling you about our day, I only got to us just having a cup of tea and breakfast. So, you know, there's the whole day after that you still got to go through. But also, you know, people don't realize when you're a sanctuary, there's only so much property that you have. So there's only so many animals that you can take in. The second hardest thing about running a sanctuary is having to say no, that you just cannot take every single animal in. Because we get inspected by land services, all of that sort of stuff. So it's so hard. You just can't take every single animal in that needs a home. And that by far, that has to be the second. Yeah. Is to have to learn to say that you can't do it. And especially like financially, mentally, all that sort of stuff. I mean, we're very lucky. We have a couple of beautiful people that have properties and have land, and they have actually taken in animals, and like an overflow of animals that we have. But even they also are still limited. So, you know, this might be the right time to let Mick know that we've got another lamb on the way here from a lovely lady that's just about to rescue one. So, you know, and we've got 3 others that we need to still rescue from another place. It's never stops.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I was telling Tracy before Mick came that I volunteer at Animal Place, and tomorrow is my shift, so I'm going to go clean chicken barns. But there were times where there was a day where I spent the whole day. So what had happened is that there were pigs. There was this mama pig and her baby, and they were about to be euthanized. They were maybe a couple of days away from being euthanized. But then there's a sanctuary that was willing to take them. That's up north here in the state in California. But they didn't have transportation on that time. So Animal Place didn't have the place, but they had the transportation. So they asked me. So then I drove my car for an hour, picked up the van, drove another 2 hours, picked up the pigs, took them to the other sanctuary, drove back to Animal Place, and then came back home. That was about 11 hours. And it was incredibly empowering for me to do, because it was an opportunity to do something. But it also showed me what sanctuaries do. It's not just simply the care of the animals. It is actually being informed by authorities, at least here, when there are abuse cases, what resources are available. They coordinate with each other. They help each other. It's all kinds of things. And volunteers are the pipeline of sanctuaries, and that's exactly brings me to the next question is, what kind of volunteer opportunities do you have? And if somebody does not live nearby, somebody like me lives on the other side of the world, are there online volunteering opportunities that one can do? Also membership, how does one become a member, and what are the different types of membership and all of that. So if I would love to get, and of course I do, so of course we are partners of the Vegan Stay, and then this coming year things will be evolving quite a bit, and then as I said, we'll be updating in the next weeks and months. But for now, let's say I want to become a member. How do I go about it, and how do I go about finding out more about that?
Well, it's more like a sponsorship. What we have is we have sponsorship where people can sponsor different paddocks and things like that. So they can definitely check out our website, and we have like all the different sponsors there. If there's people on the other side of the world, look, there's always things that can be helped out with there.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if people want to contact us, if they want to write little stories, things like that, that's something that we never get a chance to do, but we would love to be able to incorporate, you know, just to put little stories up. Our newsletter is a little bit non-existent at the moment, yeah, but we've been so busy. And what you were saying about the travel as well, that's a huge thing, to be able to get time. Like if we get a call about a lamb that needs rescued or something like that, like we can't just drop everything and run. So we really struggle with that part as well, is just trying to find somebody that can actually go out and collect the animals to do the rescues. And we've got one place that does surrender in their lambs and that, or grown sheep. We have a grown sheep here that had to have a leg amputated. You know, and it's just having the transport to be able to go and collect them. The farm that will surrender them into us, that's a 9-hour round trip for us just to go and collect the animals. So that's, you know, it's a massive day. It's a massive day. So that's a huge, you know, huge problem at the moment, actually. Yeah. So because it's not just that 11-hour round trip. When we get home, then we kick back into our normal routine of feeding the animals, checking them, cleaning their poop out, etc. So your day that was 11 hours on the road ends up being a 19-hour day, and then you get a few hours sleep and off you go again. So no, absolutely. And that's so there is another mission that also we did a rescue. We picked up goats and sheep from a very, very horrible rescue case. So the state authorities in fact actually pressed charges in that particular one. So, and then it was again animal place. I went in the morning, we collected them. It took us the whole day to get back. But then luckily animal place, because it's a sanctuary, it's actually one of the largest in the US, they have quite a bit of staff and volunteers. So when we dropped them, we spent some time with them, then they got to go home at the end of the day. And then the vet and other people took over for the evening and for the next day. Yeah. So then when you have more volunteers, you will be able to sort of divide that work and be able to do a lot more. And no, absolutely, I have seen it firsthand, and it is something I highly recommend to everybody for all kinds of things. I call it compassion therapy. Yes.
The idea of serving these beings whose lives we are taught to take for granted, but suddenly you find yourself serving them. It's incredibly humbling, and you see how they live moment to moment, and then it really reduces anxiety. It reduces lots of other things just being with them, and I'm surprised why psychiatrists don't recommend this a little bit more frequently or at all, instead of just prescribing pills. Maybe they should prescribe sanctuary visits, at least to some people. I am absolutely convinced it will do people good. It really will do some people good. I'm sure it will do everybody good, but I think some people probably will need it acutely. But you know, being around animals, and it slows them down, reduces anxiety and all of that. I have zero questions. So talking about sponsorship, I would love to become a sponsor myself. So I would look into Yeah, absolutely. I would love to be connected to the sanctuary in all kinds of ways, small and big. So yes, I would love to be a sponsor. I will look through the list on the website, and then I will be in touch with you. I highly recommend that being a sponsor for an animal. You get to hear stories. I sponsor a number of animals in a number of sanctuaries, and I'm trying to build this kind of connection with as many sanctuaries as I can. And as time goes on, and hopefully I will have children on all the continents to go and visit them.
Yes.
It's to hear stories of survival. It's about stories of survival, and it's incredibly inspiring. And you are supporting a sanctuary. You become a member of a family. I mean, sanctuary is a family, and that's what it is. It's a family of founders, volunteers, and there is always the vibe of that. You connect in that way. You make a real direct contribution to for an animal. And I just want to mention, when you hear sponsorship, it's not millions of dollars. It's hardly a month. It's a couple of cups of coffee. That's what it is. If you look at it, because when people do sponsorships, like, oh, I don't have that kind of money. It's not a lot of money. And then even if somebody doesn't have even that much, even making one-time donation to Peanuts Wellbeing Sanctuary, I think that would be highly appreciated. And I believe that there is the opportunity for that on the website. Is that correct?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you can. And also too, we understand that people are struggling, and we really understand that. So we started up Wellbeing Wednesday, where it's just about the well-being, where people, they are struggling in that, but they still want to feel that they can be part of it and still contribute. So, look, they can sign up and donate as little as like $5 a week, or even $5 a month. It says, it's whatever they can do. I mean, we've had children that get their pocket money and they just want to donate the couple of dollars a month. It's like, that's beautiful. But they're still helping the animals. That's what they're doing, and that's all it's about. You just do what you can do, and Lord knows the animals appreciate it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's about the bonding with you guys. It's a bonding with the animals, and it's about the awareness. It's even $2, but then it's awareness that it brings with it.
Yes.
That even small contributions go all the way. And I mean, sanctuaries, of course, are non-profits, and animals. Yes, it doesn't cost. There are times where it doesn't cost, but there are times where it does. Because some animals have special needs, and the veterinarian care and everything. So it adds up. And then any small thing, and then I think just the kind of message that you guys receive, even from $1, that kind of message, somebody's taking the time and thinking about you, I think it means a lot. And I highly encourage everybody listening to us, either live or in the recording, to please consider any one of these options. And as I was saying, that I personally become a proud sponsor of a baby at Peanuts Wellbeing Sanctuary.
Yeah, well, you get to sponsor a whole paddock.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Yes, of course. Yeah, of course. I remember talking to you guys on the very first day we launched last year. It has been quite a journey. We are already in 40 countries. We are making, the first steps, but this year we are growing quite a bit, and we have quite a few plans, and we will be updating you in the next weeks. And I just want to mention that that the sanctuary has 2 accommodations on the vegan stay.
Yeah.
Please come out. And in fact, I do plan to visit Australia, and my nephew is actually attending school in Perth, and then I will be coming to Australia to visit him at some point, and then I will visit the entire country, and he's actually on the show today. He's watching us. Hi, nephew. So hopefully he comes to visit you. He's on the other side of the country, but he should come visit you. When I come to visit, I will be staying at the sanctuary. I plan on coming, staying at the sanctuary for some time, and then even maybe stay for a couple of weeks and volunteer with you guys. I have some experience.
Brilliant. That will be brilliant.
I will absolutely think about doing it. So I have one more question. How does the future look like for you in the next, let's say, 1 year, 2 years, as far as you can see?
Well, from my side of things, we've got a lot of life left in us. So we actually can see out for the next 15 years how we're going to build more paddocks, look after the animals that we have, you know, like grow the shelters and grow Peanuts as a sanctuary itself. The next year, we'll go the next year, the accommodation set up. We'd love to get a second accommodation block put in. We've got some more fencing to do for paddocks and some more shelters. The next 5 years, we'd love our education program to be expanded so that it raises the awareness of people that animals, they don't get to speak, they can't tell their stories, that they actually talk through us. So, excuse me, it's more about the 5-year plan of raising more awareness in the whole world, not just in our area or Australia on its own. Yeah, we're here for the long haul. We've been running, 14 years, and we've still got a lot of years to go. So we'll be here.
Yeah, we're very excited because the accommodation is just new as well. So, I mean, I had the loft for quite a while, but our new accommodation, so we can accommodate for up to 6 people or little groups. We had a 60th birthday last weekend, which was fantastic. So you know, like, it all takes time, but we eventually get there. So,
but 100% positive response. The people that came, they were just so beside themselves once they went around Peanuts and met with the animals and heard their stories. There's other people in that group already planning ahead 12 months to book in their birthdays. Because it's not just so it's not just celebrating your birthday with your friends. They actually want to celebrate their birthday with animals and other sensible beings. So the work is spreading, and the work is amazing.
Yeah, and we think there could be a wedding on its way. So a booking for a wedding, which is fantastic. So, you know, it's and it all goes to help the animals. And you know, I think we love it because we kind of think if we weren't doing the sanctuary, if we went on holiday, where would we want to go? We'd want to come here. So that's the way we look at it.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, the power of what you're doing is education by empathy, because you understand that people are in their own journeys. And for me, what I'm absolutely convinced is that many people are not aware about animals. It's just because they are denied the opportunity. I think secrecy is the strongest weapon. The strongest weapon at the hand of any oppressive system. Well, because the moment we empathize with anything, another human being from another group or an animal, we can't oppress them. But if we don't see them, if they are out of the way, well, I mean, we can think about them. And you guys are that's exactly what you're doing. You are undermining that secrecy. You are bringing people face to face to see animals for the sentient beings they are. They are on this planet for their own reasons. They are here for their own purpose. We appropriated them because we overpowered them, not because it's a birthright. It's not. When people had a chance, that's what they did to each other, and that's what they do to each other. And I'm absolutely convinced that we learned it. What we do to each other, we learn by seeing what we do to animals first, and then somehow it spills over. What I really think human to human violence is really a spillover from human to animal violence. And therefore, if we have to heal that, we have to go to the source, and that's exactly what you guys are doing. And which brings out another theme, which is, I want to remind our listeners that sanctuaries, vegan sanctuaries, are also educational centers. And then you could imagine, when we put more resources in their hands, what they can do. There will be more time for rescuing lives, very, very deserving lives, and for educating the public about the plight of animals. So they are not just places of rescue, they're not just havens, but they are sort of beacons of light for all of us, because you have a lot to teach. I mean, you have a lot to teach the rest of the world. You absolutely do.
Yeah, and that's true. We believe that because you know, we work with a lot of children for at-home care, and we've had children here that actually have abused animals already, and they say that, you know, these are rough statistics, but they say about 70-75% of hardened criminals all start off by hurting animals. So that's where they start. Domestic violence is so situated around the harm with animals. So, you know, if we can get them here and teach them empathy and teach them, you know, that animals are they're no different to us. They feel pain, they have feelings, they, you know, all the rest of it. They form friendships, they do everything the same as that we do. And if you can teach them that young, then, you know, they grow up and they'll teach their peers the same thing. And, you know, it's just like breaking that cycle of where we believe that they're there to serve us. Because you're right, they're not. They're here for their own reason.
Yeah,
absolutely. So, is there anything else you would like to add at the end of this live? Anything that you would like to communicate to people listening to us, either live or in the recording?
No, look, I think just if you at any way think that you've got something you can contribute, please contact us, send us an email or anything like that. But we'd love to hear from you. We'd love for people to start booking in to come and spend some time with us.
Yeah. The only thing I would add is that we know that, you know, throughout the whole world, people do find struggle, and they sometimes struggle, say, with mental health, for instance, that if they're not sure about some things, that you can always reach out to us, follow us on our page and get an uplifting story about one of the animals that we've rescued, maybe from a similar situation. And that then gives you hope that you're not alone in the world. And that's something that we like to work with the children. Some children will feel that they're hopeless, that they're the only ones in the whole world going through a situation. You are not. If you just reach out to us, the animals actually can help heal you, because they have been in that same situation. So that's about what I would add.
Yeah, and that's perfect. And also too, because if you're somewhere in the world and you're feeling really sad, and, you know, I know our internet's not the best out there, but we could give it a go. If you just need to see a little cuddly, you know, baby, or you need to just see an animal or something that you don't usually get to see, you know, we're happy to help if we can. So just shout out.
That is very, very beautiful. So everybody, please, to our listeners, again, this is Tracey Keenan and Mick Still, the co-founders of the beautiful sanctuary, Peanuts Wellbeing Farm Animal Sanctuary in South New Wales in Australia, and that's the province where Sydney is located. That's in Eastern Australia. Please give them a follow on their Instagram, Peanuts Wellbeing, and you could see it on the top of the screen. Facebook, please visit the website. Please take a look at their stay on the vegan stay, the 2 stays that they have. Make a booking. Consider celebrating your next birthday party there. Please consider becoming a sponsor. I think it's a beautiful, beautiful way to be connected to the sanctuary. Consider volunteering your time. And at the very least, please send a message to these very special people, just to tell them thank you for all that you do. Tracey and Mick, thank you so much for all that you do. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate you. And then, as somebody who cares deeply about sanctuaries, I will do all my best and everything in my power to walk with you in this journey in whatever way I can. So, and I'm so incredibly glad and happy that we got to meet each other this year, and I look forward to many, many years of working together in the coming years. So thank you very much.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye. Thank you. Thank you so much for lovely. Bye. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.